Good afternoon, my YouTube friends. Thanks so much for coming by. Today we are making the ultimate comfort food, spaghetti and meatballs, all with whole food plant-based ingredients from my pantry. Keep on watching to see how we do it. Alrighty guys, the main ingredient for our meatballs are these green lentils here. I've had these in my pantry for quite a while. You can use any type of lentil. I just took a cup of them and soaked them in water for about 4 hours. You can also do it overnight. After I soak them, I cook them on a simmer for about an hour and a half, and they more than doubled in size. So I've got about 2 cups here that I'm loading into my Vitamix. And on top of that, I'm going to add some mushrooms, onion, and garlic that I've sauteed a little bit. I'll leave below the exact amounts I used. And then to that, I'm just going to plop in some tomato paste and some, some sloshy liquid aminos. You can of course use soy sauce if that's what you've got. Then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of flax meal. I tend to prefer to buy flax meal because your body absorbs the nutrients a little bit better when they're ground up, but you can use regular flax seeds. They'll grind up a bit in the blender anyway. So whatever you've got on hand is great. It just works kind of like a binder, like an egg would. And then at this incredibly helpful angle that I decided to film at, I'm going to just pulse up these ingredients just a little bit. Well, first I'm going to turn on the blender. That's a better angle. And then we're just going to pulse them until everything is just combined. You still want to have little bits of lentil, little bits of onion. You don't want to just totally mash it up until it's a paste. You want a little bit of texture in there. So I'll show you what it looks like. This probably would work better in a food processor, but if you've seen any of my videos, you know that I do not have a food processor and I use my bed mix for everything. And it really does work. I just have to smoosh it down here and there, and then it grabs again and we're good to go. And because of that previous awesome angle that I was shooting, I don't think you were able to see that I added some oats, as well as some salt, pepper, roasted red pepper flakes, garlic, and onion powder. So I will of course link below the amounts that I used as well. So this is just about right as far as texture goes. I'm just kind of blitzing it a little bit more. See how you can see the little bits of onion in there and whole lentils? That's exactly right. And now that we're nice and mixed up, I'm going to take my handy dandy ice cream scoop here and I'm going to fill it about half full. And we're going to roll out our little lentil balls. This recipe will make 12 medium-sized balls like these. And the cool thing is you can actually freeze these raw if you'd like, or in my case I like to cook them all up and then use them as meal prep and put them in containers per serving, which is really helpful during the week for me. Now that we've got all 12 of our meatballs here, I've heated up a skillet and I'm spraying it just a little bit with some olive oil, and we're on about medium heat, and I'm just going to sear each of these meatballs on as many sides as possible. They are a little bit more mushy than an actual meatball, so they the more you turn them, the more they turn into weird shapes, but they still taste really good, and I like the flavor a lot better if you can get a little bit of caramelization on each edge. So that's how I roll with them, pun intended. So we're looking at probably about 2 or 3 minutes each side. And once we are nice and golden on just about every side we can get these meatballs to go to, I'm just going to dump in any old marinara that you've got sitting in your house. This is a roasted garlic one from Trader Joe's. Just gonna pour it right on in and let it simmer with these little lentil guys. and we will be good to go. So there's so many different ways you can eat these meatballs. You can eat them on their own. Steve and I actually stuffed calzones with them the other night, and they're amazing. But if you're trying to be a little bit more healthy and stay a little bit lower on the carbage, I really recommend making some zucchini noodles. I've got my little spiralizer here. I'll link below where I got mine. It was really inexpensive, and it has this awesome suction cup on the bottom so it stays on the counter. My favorite part about making these is how much Olive loves the little center here. So she gets a treat, and it's super good for her too. Here she is waiting patiently for her zucchini. And then I'm just going to barely saute these just until they turn a little bit brighter green. I don't want to cook them down a ton. I still want them to be al dente so they have a little bit of a bite to them. So I'm just adding a bit of salt and a little bit of nutritional yeast to give it a little like Parmesan cheese flavor. And we're looking pretty good. Just a really quick, like 30 seconds or so. Of course, cook them longer if you prefer. I just like to have a little bite to them still. So now that our zoodles are nice and al dente and our lentil meatballs have been simmering in their sauce, everything's nice and warm and the kitchen smells like Italy in the most amazing way, and I'm starving, I'm just going to add a few of these meatballs on top of my zoodles here and add a little bit extra sauce. In retrospect, I probably should have added sauce before, but it all got mixed in the end. Then I'm going to top it with a little bit more nutritional yeast, and we're gonna dig in. I hope that you guys give this recipe a shot, and I hope that you love it as much as I do. It's an awesome staple to have hanging out in your fridge. I hope that you're staying safe and healthy, and I can't wait to talk to you soon. Have a wonderful day. Cheers.